Well, I'm bummed. I thought I got a picture of this tank all nice and shiny with clear coat on it before we started sanding on it, and I went to look over at the camera, and it was off. So the batteries, I don't think, like this cold weather out here too much. So anyway, to start over, I ended up sanding these all down with a DA with an interference pad and 800 grit. So the goal is to sand this all down nice and smooth, and then we're going to lay the decals on here and then re-clear the whole tank. I don't get too crazy with the sanding. I just like to get the texture out. You can see it's nice and smooth. And then I'll take a Scotch-Brite and go around to the small areas so I don't risk cutting through anywhere. Because if I cut through the clear of the base coat, it creates a kind of a nightmare. You don't have to also do this just for laying stripes. If you're wanting that super flat, professional looking paint job, this is a good thing to do, is shoot 2 coats of clear on your project, let it sit a couple days, block back down with 1,000 grit or 800 grit, and it'll give you that nice, flat, wet look. I see a lot of people will like just pound clear on, put 4 or 5 coats on, and then sand it down so they have room, they don't have to do it twice. I guess it works, but there's going to be a difference in how they look. When you stack a bunch of clear on top of each other, you have layers, and it'll actually start to ripple, and you'll never get that true flat as a pancake look. And that's how you get that, is sanding between coats of clear and re-clearing it. So I'm going to put you up on the pod. I'll finish up the prep on this, and then we'll go into the house and lay some stripes on there where it's a little bit warmer, and then come back out here, hang this, and clear this tank and the beamer tank that we have ready to go too. So if you have any questions or you want to see more, have any other details, post them in the comments and I'll be happy to get back to you. So she's pretty all scuffed up pretty good. I'm just going to go over with some glass cleaner, and then we're going to go ahead and lay the stripes down on it. I'll show you the product I use to do that, because these are kind of a pain in the butt stripes. Not looking forward to this because they're not like a normal stencil that you can just lay down, press out, and you're good. They're all wiggly and long, and just not fun. They're not easy like a simple badge or something you're trying to put on. So, but we'll get it done. I've done it before. The bike you actually see on the thumbnail of the first video is the first one I did of this. So it's actually not this bike. So anyway, and also I'm not going to reshoot this. We're going to go ahead and just mask that off. Well, here's the aftermath. My camera didn't want to play nice and record, but this is the stripes on there. Don't worry about all the funky stuff. I need to clean that off with some glass cleaner. But I was in mid-run with laying these stripes down, and it's kind of time sensitive, and you'll see, because I'm going to try to record the other side, and hopefully we have no issues. But yeah, filming and working at the same time on intricate stuff can be challenging. But I'm going to flip this tank around and hit record, and hopefully this time it records, and we get this, you get to see how to do this. I'll see you soon. All right, we're going to try to shoot this, and hopefully you get everything going on here. This is not exactly an easy thing for me to do. I used to hate to even do stripes, period, but out of having to do something or not do something at work, I learned how to do these. What makes these decals very tough is they're all in sections, all individual pieces here. I've got 3 pieces to get on there. I use my phone as a reference so I can see kind of what's going on. But generally what I did on the other side, you saw the pictures, I'm going to lay this top one down, get the bottom one to connect to it, and then I'm going to do this inside piece. I use this product. It's a decal spray. I learned about it years ago from a auto body shop that works on RVs and does large decals. I think it's better than soap and water by far. I don't have to worry about getting the right mixture of soap to water and having any kind of residue or shit drying too fast or too slow. So we're going to get started. What I like to do is get these ready to peel, because you can't lay them down like a standard decal and just peel them off when they're dry, because you can't see where they line up. That's what makes this a pain in the butt. So I hose it down. I hose the decals down. It gives me enough time to work. I use a razor blade and the cardboard to a razor blade, because these things will need to get picked off a few times. So let's get started. Can't have too much soap. You can't have too much soap to keep this stuff from drying out on you. And these decals. These are like the worst decals I've ever had to work with, these multi-piece ones. One piece, that's kind of simple and a no-brainer, but because you kind of want a time crunch and be sure you got them in the right spot. There's no real super markings to say this is where this goes or it doesn't go. I'm going to hose these down here too. So we're going to lay these bad boys on. Kind of use your best judgment where it goes. And then I'm going to come this over here. Maybe I can turn this for you to see a little bit better. Hopefully I don't screw myself up. Something like that. So, turn this heater off. I'm going to start, I think that looks about right. So, try to pick these off. This is the tough part. You want to tear it or cut it. And get them laid down, and then we'll get the bottom going. And just real quick, I'm going to see if we're in line. The other side was back a little farther, so we're going to, just to be safe on the spacing, I think that looks a little bit better. Let's see if we got space on that. I think we're okay. So, lay those down. It's kind of a pain because you can't pull fast because it'll pull bubbles because it's so wet, but you need it wet so you can move it, because we'll have to move this eventually to make everything line up. So that's part of the fun on these. Can't imagine how they did this at the factory back in the day. I'm wondering if they had more of a one-piece decal or something of that nature. Bob, you're the owner of this tank. If you're watching this, maybe you can comment and tell me how the heck they did this. I kept their sanity doing this. Can't imagine doing tank after tank all day long like this, but come on. Where'd my cardboard piece go? I don't freak out yet. That's why plenty of soap. keep things good. And this is actually a good thing today that everything's cold too. It slows things down. So we're going to peel this one. We apply. Put it on the right way. Kind of eyeball it the best you can. You kind of see through it a little bit, but you really can't. There's a bubble starting to form there. I think we're okay. That's pretty tight. I wish I filmed the other one because I'm left-handed and working this way is kind of hard for me, but we'll get it done. So I got these ears pulled. I don't know if you can see that very well. And I can see them off now. So what I like to do is bring them in. Try this again. They don't have to be dead on. I try to keep them dead on as much as possible. Then you know everything's lined up right. But if it hangs over a little bit, what I mean by that, you have to trim it. That's better than being short. And I'm the most impatient person in the world, so I don't know how the heck I can be able to do these. You definitely don't want to do this when you're in a rush. And the other reason also, just note why I let the clear sit for about a day and a half before I sanded it. Clear continues to breathe and solvents are coming out of it, and you don't want to do it too soon, otherwise your decals will bubble on you. All right, one left, the most fun one. You can see they're starting to kind of wrinkle up a little bit there. You got to kind of keep your eyes on them. They still catch 22 of them moving on you versus trying to dry lay them, because that happens. All right, one more. I've got a CB tank over there that I'd like to get done on my own that has similar decals, I think. So getting good practice for my own bike. All right, so we're going to kind of eyeball that like I said before. It's hard to see through the paper. As you can see, you can't see where that tape wants to lay. That's what the sucky thing. I wish this stuff was clear even. That would be an awesome invention. A clear backing that you can see through. And then those are going to lay over and line up. So, and those are cut to fit, because obviously those aren't just going to line up with each other. So let's go ahead and pick these. Hopefully maybe you can see what I'm doing now. Just want to pull a little bit out. Be very gentle. These decals are pretty fragile. They'll cut, tear, wrinkle. just looking at them wrong. Like I said, one of the reasons for hosing it down with the spray gives you time to work. So you don't need to rush too much. Just a little trim there on that bottom, or left like a 32nd of an inch, very little. Oh, you fucker. Lay down. Play nice, come on. As I get to the end here, I'll double check nothing needs moved. Holy shit, that one almost lined up perfectly without any cutting. Just need to move that skosh. That's a miracle. You're watching a miracle in action. Maybe it's a good thing I filmed this side. And Bob, you can't see any of the craziness going on in your tank on the other side. Oh, spoke too soon. The reason I use the cardboard, it won't cut the paint. All right. We are almost, oh, there. Oh, you got to be very careful with this stuff. It wants to move on you and cause you to drink. That back out. A little bit of an overhang there. I don't know. Moved on me. You want to kind of run around and push on it, but you don't want to do that. All right, we're back. I had to swap batteries. So you can see I got a little bit of trimming to do right there. A little right there. That one lined up pretty dead nuts on. So you just got to be patient. Do whatever it is that you do to put yourself in a calm place, because this is definitely something that'll pull your hair out if you're not calm and take your time. So what I'm going to do is trim that edge with a razor blade very carefully, and then we're going to wipe it down with some glass cleaner and shoot some clear on this thing. So usually when it's got water and stuff on it, I'm probably going to take it into my house because it is a whopping 50 degrees in the booth or my shop right now, and let this all evaporate good so there's nothing trapped underneath these decals and cause a headache, because that's the kind of thing that could pop up in a day or two. Is the water trying to come out and you already cleared over it. So we'll rejoin in the booth, and then I'll show you the final results out in the sun.